Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pastorji. Dana Pranam. Hare Krishna, Sashwin. Hare Krishna. Dana Pranam, Sashwin. So we'll start with the Mangala Charan. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, we can start. Yes.
Sashwin, let's start. Yes.
Om
Chakshurumilitam yena tasmai Shri Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam yena bhutale
Satvedam Svabhudam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanushrute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanjakalpatyarubhyascha Kirpa Sindhobhayeva cha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you very much, Sashwin. So today we are on text 29. By the time Mataji joins, Prabhuji, should we just continue reading the text?
Yes, we can continue the text and other things. So that.
All right. Sashwin, Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Today we are in the office. We doesn't have the Bhagavad Gita book, but I can read that slokas.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Utterpidam trudesaiva kunadastrividam srunu sochyamanam nasesena rudatvena tananjaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let me try. Buddhir-vedam dhritis-chaiva
Buddhir-vedam dhritis-chaiva
Gunatas-trividam shrinu
Gunatas-trividam shrinu
Prochyamanam ashashena
Prochyamanam asheshena
Prithakvena dhananjaya.
Prithakvena dhananjaya.
Aravinda, Prabhuji, will you please read the translation?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes.
Prabhu.
Buddhe of intelligence.
Buddhe of intelligence.
Bhedam, the differences.
Vedam, the differences.
Dhrite of steadiness.
Dhrite of steadiness.
Cha also.
Cha also.
Eva certainly.
Ever certainly.
Gunata by the modes of material nature.
By the modes of material nature.
Trividham of three kinds of.
Trividham of three kinds of.
Shrunu just here.
Shrunu just here.
Prokchamanam as described by me.
Prochamanam are described by me.
Asheshena in detail.
Asheshana in detail.
Prithaktvena differently.
Prithaktvena differently.
Dhananjaya, O winner of wealth.
Dhananjaya, winner of wealth.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Kumar Prabhuji, will you please read the translation?
Krishna Mataji, I don't have a book, Mataji. You know, I was reading.
All right, from the mobile. Okay, fine. So I'll read the translation. Then Aravinda Prabhu, you'll read then the purport by the time you wait for Mataji.
No problem, Mataji.
All right, Prabhu. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Now, after explaining knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower in three different divisions according to the modes of material nature, the Lord is explaining the intelligence and determination of the worker in the same way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I guess this is like what you've been reading, yeah, Path Prabhuji, but while we wait for Mataji to join.
Yes, now we can read the text number 30.
30, okay.
Yes.
Prabhuji, will you please? So that we
Yes,
learn
no
how
problem.
to. Yes.
Okay. Prabhutim cha nibhutim cha.
Prakritim cha nivirtim cha.
Prabhutim cha nibhutim cha.
Prabhritim cha nivritim cha.
Karya karyo bhaya bhaye.
Karya
Karya
bhaya
karye
bhaye.
bhaya bhaye.
Karya karyo bhaya bhaye.
Karya
Karya
bhaya
karye
bhaye.
bhaya bhaye.
Bandham moksham cha vaveti.
Bandham
Bandham
moksham
moksham chaya
shavaveti.
veti.
Bandham moksham cha vaveti.
Bandham
Bandham
moksham
moksham chaya
veti.
veti.
Buddhi sa partha sattiki.
Buddhi sa partha
partha
satviki.
satviki.
Buddhi sa partha sattiki.
Buddhi
Buddhi
sa partha
partha
satviki.
satviki.
Yes. So can I read it?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yes. Prabhutim
Prakritim
Pravritim doing.
cha
Cha
also.
also.
nibhutim
Nivritim
Nivritim
not doing.
not doing.
not doing.
Cha
Cha
and
And
karya
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 what ought to be done.
what
what
ought to be done.
Akreye
Akarye
Akarye
what ought not to be done.
what
and what ought
and what
not to be
ought to
done.
be done.
Bhaye
Bhaye
Bhaya
fear.
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 Abhay
Abhaye
Abhaye
and fearlessness.
and
and
fearlessness.
fearlessness.
Bandhanam
Badam
Bandham
bondage.
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 Moksham
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 liberation.
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 Cha
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 and
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 ya
Yeah.
Yeah.
that which,
That which.
That which.
veti,
Veti.
Veti.
knows,
Knows.
No.
buddhi,
Buddhi.
Buddhi.
understanding,
Understand.
Understanding.
sa,
Sa.
yat,
That.
That.
partha,
Partha.
Partha.
oshana prutha,
Osana
O
Prita.
Samapta.
satviki,
Tattviki.
in the mood of goodness.
In the
In the
mode
mode
of
of
goodness.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay.
Jai.
Vashana Paprutha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be freed and what is not to be free, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mood of goodness. Purport. Performing actions in terms of the directions of the scriptures is called performing actions in the terms of directions of the scriptures is called prabhuti, or executing action that deserve to be performed, and actions which are not so directed are not to be performed. One who does not know the scriptural directions becomes enlightened in the actions and the actions of work. Understanding which discriminates by intelligence is situated in the mood of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dana Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Mataji, welcome to the group. We have just read 29 and 30.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
All right, so I'll hand over to you, Mataji.
Sure. Thank you so much for the service opportunity, Mataji. Hare Krishna. All right, so we can get started. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjanushalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I want to pay my humble obeisances to all of you on the call, so that with your blessings, I may be able to speak the relevant words of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay. Right, so let's get started with the verses for today. I'm not doing a recap of the previous verses because obviously there is no connection, meaning there is a little bit of connection, but then since you've gone through the modes as far as the others go, I'm just not going to repeat that, but we look into what we have to see for today and try to understand that in depth. So the verse that we're going to be discussing probably are from 29 to 32, I believe, but we will see depending on how the time is, we can accordingly go through the verses. Okay, so 29th verse. So if you understand, we've been discussing about the jnana of the karma yogi, right? How the karma yogi can situate himself in any action by understanding the three modes of material nature, with respect to, again, correlation with various elements. So till now you have seen jnana cha, karmam cha, karta cha, so which is mentioned in starting from verses 19 onwards through the 9 verses. First you talked about jnana, then we talked about karta, and then we talk about karmitan. So this is what we've been discussing about so far. So now from 29th verse, there is a transition here where the future elements of the action will be mentioned. And those elements are going to be discussed from verse number 30 to 39. What are the elements that we'll be discussing? It is going to be buddhi, meaning intelligence, dhriti, meaning determination, and then we are going to be talking about sukham. So these are the three topics that we'll be going through from verses 30 onwards till 39. So if you look at verses generally from 19 to 39, they are analysis of action as per the three modes. So first 20 to 22 was talking about knowledge, which is the first step in any action that we would perform. And 23 to 25, we were talking about karma, which is the nature of the action. And then 26 to 28 talked about karta, meaning the nature of the doer or the actor. And then today's verse will be buddhi, the understanding for action. And then dhriti or determination for action will be discussed from 33 to 35. And then from 36 to 39, we'll be discussing about sukha, that is the fruit of action, which is happiness. So today's verse, buddhirbedam dhritesyaiva gunatas-trividam shrinu prochayamanam asheshena pratakmena dhananjaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. Buddhir Vedam Tritaishcheva. Vedam means differentiation. Veda, right? They differentiate, analysis, categorization. That is what is the meaning. Gunatas Trividam Shrinu. In terms of three modes, we'll be discussing that. Veda of what? Veda of Buddhi and Dhriti. Buddhi means intelligence, as I told you, and Dhriti means determination. Shrunu. Arjuna, please hear. Prochayamanam asheshena. I'm going to speak to you in detail. Asheshena means nothing left exhaustingly. So detailed, I'm going to speak to you in detail. Prithakvena Dhananjaya, in terms of their difference. So I'm going to now talk to you, Arjuna, about what? About Buddhi and Dhriti. So this is what I will be talking to you, Arjuna. Shrunu, please hear about it. So now, again, there is also going to be another transition where Krishna will be talking about Sukham. That will start from the 36th verse. So now we need to understand, earlier Krishna talked in terms of jnana, karma and karta, isn't it? There are these elements of action with respect to what we perceive in this world. If you look at jnana, to act, first of all, we need to perceive, isn't it? What is happening in this world? After we perceive, that is what is the knowledge, what we perceive about what is happening in this world. That is jnana. And then we have karma. Then we decide how we want to act, isn't it? We perform some action. That is karma. And then karta. While doing a particular action, there is a person who's doing that action. And this person, this karta, this person who's the doer, he's affected by the modes in different ways. So we saw that. And then now, apart from that, we are acting, isn't it? During that time of acting, there is buddhi and dhriti, which is also involved. Buddhi is what? Intelligence. And knowledge or jnana, intelligence means to see things in a proper perspective. Suppose if I act, then how should I act? What should I do? What should I not do? So this is what we need to, this is what intelligence helps us. It discriminates and helps us to see things in a proper perspective. And then dhriti, we know that is determination. That will be discussed in the next class. So once we understand this, this is how I will be acting. And this is how I should not be acting. So intelligence will decide, I should act this way. I should do it this way. I should be consistent in doing this way. And there must be persistence in doing this way. So for successful action in this world, what do we need? We need intelligence and we also need determination, isn't it? Because say, for example, there is Srila Prabhupada has given us the 4 reds. we have the intelligence. Our spiritual master has told us to perform this action, and we should be doing. So we kind of differentiate that, isn't it? We do this discrimination. This is what I need to do. This is what I should not do. I should not violate the regulative principles. I should be following the regulative principles. Again, for that, you need determination, isn't it? Without determination, how can you fulfill your spiritual master, whatever your spiritual master's orders are? It is not possible. So there is a need for determination, how consistent you are, how persistent you are in following through the orders of the spiritual master. So this is, I just wanted to sort of give you a glimpse of what these terms actually mean. So now, so this is what is the 29th verse. It is essentially giving us what Arjuna is going to talk, what Krishna is going to talk about now. He's going to be describing about buddhi and vritti, which is intelligence, and which is determination. This is what Krishna will be talking about now. He will also talk about in the future verses what sukham means and how sukham is in 3 modes. Okay, so let's get into the set of verses from 30 now, and we will see how intelligence can be understood in three modes perspective. Okay, let's go through that. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karya bhaya bhaye bandham moksham bandham moksham chayaveti buddhi sa partha satviki. Okay. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating. This is in the mode of goodness. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. So there are actions to be done and there are actions that are not to be done, which needs to be avoided. Pravritti and nivritti is more in terms of general inclinations. Karya karye bhaya bhaye. Karya akarya. Meaning these are more in terms of action, more specific. These are things specifically, what should I do? What should I not do? Karya akarya, isn't it? Bhaya abhaya. Meaning what should be feared, what should not be feared. Okay, so pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karya bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha yaveti buddhi sa partha satviki. So one should understand what is the cause of bondage and what is the cause of liberation. Bhaya bhaye. So there is a healthy fear. We should be fearful of certain things in a healthy way. There is also unnecessary fear. For example, you may ask, what is this healthy fear? A child, say for example, he has to fear from fire, isn't it? He should not touch the fire. He should fear from knife, electric wires. So these are things that we need to be fearful of, and fear of certain things. These are necessary, healthy fear, isn't it? Unnecessary fear, what is that? A child, he may have to fear about going to school. This is unnecessary. Similarly, someone is having a fear of following a spiritual path. Oh my God, what will happen to me? Will I change? Will I, whatever happiness I'm enjoying right now, am I going to lose because I'm going to get into this path of spirituality? I really don't want. There is that fear, which is unnecessary. So unduly fearful or unduly reckless, both are undesirable. We should definitely avoid that. Bandham moksham chayaveti. Sometimes people are not able to discriminate, isn't it? Between between feel-good actions and long-term consequences of the actions. Okay, what is the action that is going to bind me? So sometimes people are not able to discriminate that. What is going to liberate you and what is going to bind you? Something people are not able to discriminate. But when one understands these differences properly, then that buddhi is in the mode of goodness. Buddhi sa partha satviki. So when one is able to understand these differences in a very, very nice way, in a proper way, then that person is in the mode of goodness. So with respect to buddhi. So this is what is the understanding that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So to a large extent, this Satviki Buddhi that we are talking about is coming from the scriptures, isn't it? So senses, what do? They perceive the outer world. And senses, they comprise as a doorway between the inner world and the outer world. And if the doorway is not eliminated, then we would see, okay, we will go and meet with an accident. But on the other hand, if the doorway of this, if obviously I need to explain this term. So if the doorway of the senses are not eliminated, then what happens? We may take wrong choices, wrong turns, and because of that, we may get into accidents, and that can be self-destructive too. So we definitely have to be careful about what this means. Senses acting as it perceives the outer world, and it acts as a doorway between the inner world and the outer world, and we need to eliminate it. Otherwise, self-destruction will happen. So we need to avoid accidents, which is very, very important. And for that, this Satviki Buddhi plays a very important role. And this Satviki Buddhi comes from the study of scriptures. So Krishna, he has, so he's now going to describe the intelligence in the mode of, here he has described that this intelligence in the mode of goodness, it will help us to understand what is to be done and what is not to be done, which is very, very important, isn't it? Without that, the thing is, we have to go beyond matter to spirit. And intelligence in the mode of goodness will help us through Satviki Buddhi. By the study of scriptures, there will be transformation that would happen in the heart. And because of that transformation, we'd be able to discriminate and do the right thing. Okay, so this is what we can learn from this verse. And now let's try to also understand this further, because we need to go and get this very much clear in our heart, so that we can start applying also in our life, isn't it? So now we need to understand some terms here, right? Mindfulness. What is this mindfulness? Mindfulness means greater awareness of both the outer world and the inner world. For example, if we enter an auditorium to attend a seminar, we don't know what is the exact number of chairs or fans in the auditorium. We don't have to know that. We need to find out where our chair is it ventilated or not, so we can focus on the talk. So after all, our capacity is very, very finite, isn't it? We don't have so much attention. When attention goes to one thing, what happens? See, when the attention actually goes to one thing, it just has to focus on that one thing. Otherwise, it goes away from, it starts to get distracted. So during the talk, we need to be mindful of the things such as chairs. We should not be mindful of those things. We should stay away from counting, okay, how many chairs are there, how many fans are there, because what will happen? It is going to waste our attention. So we need to be aware of that. What do we need to focus on? What is our goal? What is the purpose of our life? What is the purpose of listening to scriptures? Where should my focus be? Am I wasting my energy in something else unnecessary during the period of time where I'm not giving focus to what is needed? That is something we need to be mindful of. Similarly, not every detail, as I told you about the example of an auditorium where we don't have to give our attention to how many chairs or fans are there in the auditorium. Similarly, not every detail in the inner world also needs attention. And certainly, we don't have to give equal attention to all that is coming up in the inner world. If we become mindful of every thought, say, for example, every emotion or every desire that is inside us, then we will be caught in this inner world, isn't it? And then we will become dysfunctional also in some cases. So as we become more mindful, we may become prone to mindless minds. The thing at the end of the day, we need to understand is that, because knowing which things matter the most for us is, we need to understand that. What are the things that matters more for us? And what should we focus on? For the survival, we definitely need to be focused on the outer world to some extent, but to what extent we need to be focused on, that we need to determine. Say, for example, driving and texting, inattentive driving can be fatal, and distracted discussions can happen, and because of which it can lead to fatal accidents as well. So we need to engage our intelligence in a right way, to place things appropriately in the framework of values. Intelligence has to be grounded in goodness. It should remind us which things are to be done and which things are to be avoided. And by this, we tend to become mindful. Okay, we become mindful of the things that are important to us, and then we don't care about things, or not at least focus at this point in time about things that are going to deviate us from this particular goal. And hence this intelligence is important to discriminate what to be done and what not to be done, and how this mind is capable of getting us distracted into multiple things. And how can we avoid? Are we going to give focus to all of the inner desires, thoughts, and emotions that is there and waste our time? We just need to understand, okay, what is my goal? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong? Obviously, the scriptures are there to guide us. And if you have mentors, well and good, they can always guide you in the right direction to take you the right path, so that we are focusing towards our goal. Okay, I have this problem, I have that problem. How can I solve? Scriptures are the way to go. And scriptures, they actually define and give us that intelligence through which actions can be performed. Okay, so which is Sattvika Buddhi is very, very important, and we should not we should not end up being mindful of unimportant things. And that way, what will happen is our mind will then focus on less important things and not focus on the important things that we have to achieve in our life. So this is very important. Okay, and now we can get into some more. This intelligence is very important, so we can understand. Okay, there is another perspective to this. Say, for example, a major challenge in relationships is happening. There is a difference of opinion. So now, when do we listen to others? And when do I actually stick to my stand? That is very important, isn't it? Some people might, elders may have something for you to say, but you may have your own stance. So there is going to be difference of opinion at all points in time. So let's consider now Krishna and Arjuna's relationship. When Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was killed, primarily because of Jayadratha, Arjuna took a vow. What vow did he take? I will kill Jayadratha before sunset tomorrow, or I'm going to end my own life. And Krishna gently chided Arjuna at that point. You have rashly taken an extremely difficult vow. Arjuna politely but firmly deferred. You know my power, I know yours. Together, I know we can do it. This is what was Arjuna saying to Krishna. Together, I know we can do it, Krishna. No worries. Even though when Krishna said, you see, you have rashly taken an extremely very difficult vow. And Arjuna, what did he say? He politely said, you know my power and I know your power. Together we can do it, Krishna. Seeing Arjuna's resolve, Krishna deferred to him. See, though Arjuna fought fiercely on the 14th day, the sunset had happened. Sunset was going to happen before he could actually reach to Jayadratha. And disappointed Arjuna, he was about to lower his bow. He's just about to go and put his bow down, because obviously after sunset, nobody is going to fight. But Krishna told him, shoot Jayadratha now. That is what was Krishna's order. Though Arjuna could have deferred from Krishna, oh, your instruction is against the war codes. He did not. He did not defer to what Krishna had to say, because he knows Krishna must have some plan. I'm not going to go against what Krishna has to say. So Arjuna shot. Just as Arjuna's arrow went towards Jayadratha's head, Krishna withdrew the divine disc, which temporarily covered the sun. That sun was temporarily covered because of Krishna covering it with the disc. And now what happened? Arjuna's vow was fulfilled. So what can we learn from these incidents? When something is important for others, or when there is expert in that field, we need to defer it to them. Conversely, on the other hand, if we are invested in something, or if we know what we are doing, even if somebody opposes us, we stand by our decisions. If we are very clear on what we are doing. So this is what is good intelligence. Good intelligence, it is able to discriminate the right course of action. This is the example that I wanted to cite you to help understand how this right intelligence is used. When should we listen to others, and when should we stand by our decisions? Isn't it? This discrimination is very important. By learning from scriptures, analyzing different situations, Krishna has given so many details through Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. So many details are there, Ramayana. We can deal with the differences of opinion in a judicious way, at the same time be able to strengthen our relationships also. So this needs intelligence in the mode of goodness. So hope you're all with me on that. So now, so when I ask this question, why don't I enjoy the things that God has provided me? So some people, they always have this mentality of saying, if God didn't want us, God didn't want us to take intoxicants, then why did he create intoxicating substance in this nature? Why did he also give us this urge to get us intoxicated? It's a feel good, nice feeling I have. I have this kick. I have this very nice feeling in me when I get intoxicated. Why does God give this urge for me to get intoxicated? We need to understand a couple of things here. So regarding enjoying, we obviously need, we can't be indiscriminate about enjoying, isn't it? Can we consume all the things that are naturally available in this environment? If yes, then can we also consume poisonous plants? It's not possible, isn't it? So regarding our urges, of course, Gita is saying our urges are not coming from God. They are coming from our past actions in our previous lives. So those who don't indulge in the lower pleasures may not have, obviously they don't have higher pleasures in their life presently, isn't it? So people are enjoying, thinking intoxication is the best because they don't have higher pleasures in their life. So do we sleep as much as our urges prompt us to sleep? Or do we watch TV as much as we want to watch, like just day and night, 24 hours? We don't. We know with our intelligence that doing those things are going to ruin us. Doing those things are going to harm us and waste our life. So even if we accept, okay, we are meant to use the things that God has given us, the one important thing he has given us is what? Intelligence. So we need to use the intelligence to evaluate to see what is favorable for Krishna consciousness and what is not favorable for Krishna consciousness. Intelligence, how can we get intelligence? Intelligence can be got through hearing, reading the scriptures. That produces transformation. Without that, how will you get the Sambandha Gyan to understand what is favorable for Krishna consciousness and what is not favorable for Krishna consciousness? We will not get that, isn't it? That discrimination actually comes from study of scriptures, which is leading us in the proper direction. So when we use the intelligence that is given by Gita, we can infer that the purpose of harmful things may be different from what we perceive. What we presume. That discrimination happens. There are wrong this is like you're being given wrong options in the multiple choice test. Okay, so We are given these harmful things are present in this world, not for us to taste, but it is there for us to be tested. Are we picking the wrong choices? Krishna wants to test us, isn't it? Somebody has to be muted, I think. I'm not sure, Mataji. Okay. So this is very, very important point. With attention, if you're able to listen to it, this can be a wonderful takeaway for you. So what I was saying is, why Krishna has created these harmful things in this world? This is not for us to taste that. We are not going to taste poisonous plants, but Krishna is going to test us. There are wrong options in the multiple choice. Are we picking that wrong choice? Something we need to understand. When we are tested, are we picking up the wrong things? Are we choosing the choice where it says it's unfavorable for Krishna consciousness? Are we picking that? Or are we picking those things that are favorable for Krishna consciousness? Because without darkness, you cannot understand the value of light. Isn't it? Only when there is darkness, you will understand how important is it for us to have sun. Imagine if we are 24/7 dark all the time, then we won't appreciate. Then when sun comes at one point in time, we start appreciating how important is the sun. So only when there are bad things in this world, we appreciate good things. And bad things are there, that is not for us to taste, but then that is there for us to be tested upon. Are we picking that choice, which is wrong? When given a test, Krishna gives us tests through various incidents every day. And we have so many times we pick up the wrong choice and also regret for it later. That regret is good. But at least, are we trying? Krishna is saying, at least is this person trying? When we are chanting, our mind gets distracted, but at least is this person trying to bring it back to attention? That trying is what Krishna is saying. Leave the result, no problem. Whatever the result is, no problem about the result. But are you keep on trying? The parent also, the parent-child relationship, the parent, he's able to understand. If the child tries, he's happy with it. At least the child is trying, isn't it? He doesn't have to pass all the time, but he's trying to get to me, trying to fulfill me, trying to please me, trying to satisfy me. He's trying his best. With whatever he has, he is trying. This is what is the understanding. Yeah. So to summarize, we need to understand that even if everything comes from God, everything may not take us to him. We need to intelligently choose things that help us evolve and move towards him. So this is what is the summary. Yeah. Wake him. Tell him. Sorry, Mataji. All right, so this is what is the understanding. So we need to use the God-given intelligence and use it in an appropriate way. And now let's go on to the next verse and see the next verse. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partharajasi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Brita, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha. So what is dharma? What is adharma? Karyam akaryam cha karyam eva cha. Krishna is using the same word earlier. Like earlier he's saying what we should do, what we should not do. Ayatavat prajanati. Yatavat means correctly. Ayatavat means not properly. So prajanati means knows. So when one does not understand clearly what is dharma and what is adharma, that is incorrect understanding, isn't it? That is incorrect understanding. This incorrect understanding is intelligence in the mode of passion. So we need to understand what is Srila Prabhupada trying to say in this particular verse. So he's saying the understanding that cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that is to be done and action that is not to be done. That is in the mode of passion. It's not able to, it is kind of misdirected. He's kind of confused. He doesn't know. He doesn't clearly understand. This person is in the mode of passion. He has an incorrect understanding, a screwed up understanding. Now let's consider an example. Anything like whenever these type of things come, if we understand it with an example, then it will stay with us. That is what I always look for. How can we help? I mean, we all have Kali Yuga Buddhi. I mean, Kali Yuga Buddhi, meaning the information doesn't last for long. So whatever is possible for us to keep this information, that is what we need to do. And for me, it just is very much what I feel is that when we give examples, when we try to understand it through an example, then it stays with us, at least for a period longer than which is without examples. Again, we always go back to our scriptures for these examples. So here I would like to talk about a specific example from Ramayana. So when one does not understand clearly what is dharma and what is adharma, that intelligence is what? Intelligence in the mode of passion. For example, in Ramayana, many people, they consider Vibhishan, isn't it? Vibhishan as a drohi, meaning he's a betrayer. That is what people say. Oh, Vibhishana, he's a betrayer of Ravana. But we all know Ravana is what? He's a betrayer of dharma. He's a betrayer of truth, virtues. And ultimately, he's also a betrayer of all living beings of God. So we have to have a proper reference to understand who's a traitor and who's not a traitor. So Vibhishan here in this case is definitely not a traitor. Ultimately, we all are meant to be loyal to the Supreme Lord. So what we have to do, we have to adjust all of our harmony. We have to adjust all of the other loyalties in the light of loyalty to the Supreme Lord. That is what is dharma. Everything has to be tuned and harmonized to be loyal to God, to be pleasing to God. That is what we need to do. And that is what Vibhishan did, isn't it? But some people have this misunderstanding, incorrect understanding of what is dharma and what is adharma. Some people say, oh, Vibhishana, you're a traitor. You betrayed your own brother Ravana and you joined hands with Rama. Isn't that the wrong understanding we are talking about in this particular verse? What is dharma and what is adharma? They have a very misunderstanding or incorrect understanding. And this person is in the mode of passion. That is how we are able to distinguish a person between mode of goodness and mode of passion. So through this example, we clearly understand how Vibhishana is and what position Vibhishana is. Krishna, he also says Sarvadharman Parityajna, isn't it? Ayatavat Prajanati. When one does not know what is dharma, what is not dharma, we understand that person is in the mode of passion, intelligence in the mode of passion. Ravana was a Rakshasa. He was in the mode of passion and ignorance. There are people who are followers of Ravana and they consider Ravana to be a good person. And they consider Vibhishana as a bad person. Vibhishana, he betrayed Ravana. So this ayatavat prajanati, when one does not understand what is the value of the scripture, what is to be done, what is not to be done, that knowledge is contaminated. Because of people, they don't understand the long-term goal of going back to Godhead. They don't understand that. They are like very much worried about the short-term pleasures this life has to offer. Going to the heavens, doing some sort of karma kandya activity. And they actually think that those activities are more important than bhakti. Because they don't understand the ultimate reality. Ayatavat prajanati. Because of this, that which is lower principle, isn't it? That which is lower principle is considered as higher principle. And that which is a higher principle is completely neglected. In mode of passion, one thinks matter and material things to be extremely important. So if you look at verse 18.21, we saw that Nanha Bhavan Pratak Vidan. So he sees that matter is important for him. So when one sees different bodies, they think they represent different souls. Difference in souls. There is a difference in soul between animals and human beings and all. In the mode of passion, there is that emphasis there. Because of too much focus on the externals, they actually forget about the internals. So we need to understand all this is incorrect. And this is what is ayatavat prajanati. That person's intelligence is in the mode of passion, which is what we saw now. And maybe let's quickly go to, I don't know, based on time, we will see if we can just quickly go to mode of ignorance, because this is in line with the continuation. I'll just quickly maybe do a 2-minute or a 3-minute recap on the mode of ignorance. And then with that, we can conclude today's session. Is that okay, Mataji? So now we completed passion. Can I go through the ignorance also?
Yes, Mataji, please. Yes.
Okay. So now ignorance. Adharmam, adharmamam, dharmam itiya, manyate tamasa vrita. I'm sorry, I'm having some issues. Sarvartan viparitamscha buddhisa bharta tamasi. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness strives always in the wrong direction. O Partha, it is in the mode of ignorance. So, to consider adharma to be dharma, manyate tamasa vrita. Tamasa vrita, one who is covered by ignorance. Avrita means the person is covered. Such a person is sarvartan viparitamscha. This person goes and thinks opposite to actually what is right. Whatever is right, this person actually thinks it to be wrong. Viparita means opposite. This person considers dharma to be the adharma, adharma to be dharma, like that. Sarvartan viparitamscha. So some people, right, they consider ordinary people to be God. Some people see God to be an ordinary person to be God. This is buddhisa bharta tamasi, tamasi buddhi. Persons have tamasi buddhi. Some people have tamasi buddhi. They don't have the right intelligence. They are under illusion and darkness completely. So which is what is the understanding Srila Prabhupada gives us. So sarvartan viparitams, to be in ignorance is bad. Obviously not knowing God exists is definitely bad. To be in ignorance and claim to be in knowledge is worse than that. Okay, I am ignorant, that is bad. The second level is to be in ignorance and claim, okay, I am in knowledge, that is worse. And there is also another level more than this. To be in ignorance and claim to be in knowledge and claim that this knowledge is the best. That is ignorance in the worst. Very, very important for us to understand the distinction. So first is to be in ignorance, and the second is to be in ignorance and claim to be in knowledge. That is worse. And then the third thing is to be in ignorance, claim to be in knowledge, and claim that this knowledge is the best. That is the worst. So we need to understand. So we know about the story of Vena from Bhagavatam. So isn't it? Vena and Ravana, these are all persons in the mode of ignorance. So we know king is a representative of God, and he's not God himself. But Vena considered him to be God himself, and his duty was to remind us about God, but he did not do that action. In the case of Vena, when Brahmana had cursed, all the Brahmana cursed, they knew this was going to be ultimately for the welfare of that king and how to correct him. That is why they did what they did. So when one has proper understanding, even from ignorance, they can come to transcendence. That's definitely possible. But if one doesn't have that proper understanding, then what happens? It is sarvartan viparitamscha. He will go downward from the position where he is, and it will ultimately lead him to destruction. In our day-to-day scenario, how can we understand this person? You may ask me, isn't it? So some examples are, say for example, you tell somebody, hey, you know what? You should read scriptures. You should read the book of Srila Prabhupada. Why? Why should I do that? Why should I read Srila Prabhupada's book? What is that? Why I have so many other books that I will read. I mean, I want to review Harry Potter books. I want so many things that I have in store that I'm intending to read. Why should I read Srila Prabhupada's book? Whatever we say, this person will do opposite to what we say. Hey, you know what? You should offer the food and eat it as a prasad. After you honor the food, you can eat it as prasad. You should offer to who? Offer to Krishna and eat it as prasad. Why should I offer to Krishna? Why not somebody? Or why should I even do that act? I'm not going to do. This person, whatever we say, he has something opposite to say. That is the nature of this person. Very much in the mode of ignorance. Whatever you say, he is not going to listen. He is going to do the opposite, or at least he has an opposite perspective to whatever you say. Hey, kids, just go and attend Ramayana class. Mataji is teaching Ramayana, or just go and attend. I'm not going to attend. I have so many other things to do. This is because of ignorance. This person has a very opposite mentality to whatever you say. He wants to do in an opposite fashion, in an opposite way. This is mode of ignorance. That is a simple example that we can think of in our everyday life, where we come across different people. So when such a person is ignorant, we just have to leave it to God. I mean, we can't force certain things. We just have to let go of certain things and be tolerant to certain things also. Unless we are able to do something to correct them, we can't forcefully do anything, because whenever we do something forcefully, that is going to backfire on us. It's not easy. Everybody has, as I told you, they need to have the spiritual credits to come to Krishna. Until that time, the process to get into Krishna consciousness is going to be difficult, and we have to be patient. We have to do what we have to do, like giving prasad, doing whatever subtle things we can do on our end. We have to keep continuing to do that. With this, we will end today's discussion. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for listening to the class very patiently. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much for taking us through the three modes that was intelligence. Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to hand over to Path Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Your nice class about the work in the mood of goodness, passion, and ignorance. How already Mataji described in work in the mood of goodness, use the intelligence, buddhi. Buddhi sa partha sattiki, which is the intelligence, so that he can understand what is wrong, what is right, what's supposed to be liberation, what not supposed to be the cause of the binding, and what's supposed to be out of fear, what not supposed to be fear, and what's supposed to be do, what not supposed to be do. He has the proper right way, and he can understand by the use of a buddhi, the intelligence, and according to the Vedic scriptures. So he can have a right knowledge. So who is that right knowledge? In the mood of a goodness. It should be nice. And also like the passion, he's just work like passionate, too much passionate. But he think maybe action in inaction, and the religion is irreligion, like that way. He do the work, but he have no such understanding about the right religion between he have a not proper understanding between what is a religion and what is non-religion, irreligion. He thinks religion, yes, he thinking, for example, giving the charity, giving the food to everyone, or giving money to everyone is okay. But in scriptures, that is not also okay. Although charity is okay, But if you are the charity or money or something is going to the wrong direction or wrong person, he may be misused. Then reaction is come to you. So he have not such type of understanding, but he's giving it out of passion. He's just giving the charity, but it's not giving it the right direction or not getting the proper result of that charity. This is the mood of a passion. And also ignorance, you told, he have doing all the opposite things. What is he? Scriptures is described in the Vedas, there are scriptures, is just doing the other things, like all the opposite things. Everything supposed to be opposite. So he is in the mood of ignorance. Thank you very much, Mataji. We are so grateful to you, although you are busy schedule also in the eve of Christmas and festive mood, everyone, but you are giving spare your time. We are so grateful to you. Also, thanks all the devotees who joined here, also thankful. We hope it will be going like this way, and from the 1st of the January, we will resume our attendance. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Thank you, Path Prabhu, for the beautiful session. Devotees, if you have questions, you can message me personally. I can definitely clarify any questions that is being talked about in today's class. So if you have questions, you can get my contact information from Soni Mataji to write down to me, and I'd be of service to you. Thank you, Path Prabhu, once again for recapping it so beautifully. All glories to all assembled devotees. Thank you.
So thank you very much, everyone, once again. And I request all the devotees, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for a glorification of Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchapatarubhyascha
Sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Same time, same place tomorrow. I know it's Christmas. Same time, same place though. Hari Bol. I'm going to end the session.